Now, when you think about the world of entrepreneurs, they fall into two categories. There are small businesses and there are startups. Now, if I say those two things are not the same, even though startups begin with zero, and some would say that's a small business, a startup is different. What do you perceive as the distinction between a small business, a person aspiring to be launching a small business versus a person aspiring to be a startup entrepreneur? What's your opinion about that?
So I think a small business is like they're meeting a niche. There's already industry there. They're just filling a need. A startup's a completely new idea. It's something new, brand new.
Okay, it's based on an innovation that is not mature in the marketplace. That's one element.
Yep.
What else would be different about a startup from a small business?
So I think when it comes to mind with a startup, it's much more in the concept idea phase of whatever it would be compared to kind of bouncing off of what Wyatt was saying, something that's already pre-existing in the market that just needs, whether you're kind of reinventing the wheel with it or whatever it is. I definitely think the startups are getting out of the concept phase and seeing what you can do to really get your big idea off the ground, whatever that looks like.
Okay. You're both correct. It's fine. Another distinction that's important is that generally startups are going after markets that are beyond the local community and have the potential to grow either nationally or potentially globally. All right. So it's based on an innovation and the opportunity that it could be large, serving a much larger market than just a local community. From the very beginning, thinking about those opportunities to grow. And oftentimes, if you think about businesses that are going to be based on an innovation and growing well beyond the confines of a local community, then it's difficult to get traditional financing for it, okay? So people that are working on innovations realize they're not likely going to be able to go to the bank and ask for some kind of loan to do it.
Right.
And even if they borrow money from friends and family, actually we call it the 3 F's, friends, family, and fools, the 3 F's. You might be able to get some money from the 3 F's, but it's oftentimes not enough to really bring an innovation that does not exist in the marketplace to a stage where a company could be a real company, right? And that's why sources of capital are pretty important. One other thing that hasn't been mentioned, that for any business, what's really important is being able to understand, how do I get more customers, right? And in a startup, even more so than a traditional small business. Because if you're starting a restaurant, you're looking at something in the local community and you're thinking about, how do I market locally to get people to go to my restaurant? It's a very different ballgame than trying to say, I'm starting something out of the starting gate that I hope I could be selling to somebody that has nothing to do with the local area that I'm in. So how you get access to distribution is also very different. So it's not only to rely on, or thinking that, well, if I do advertising, then I can advertise and I can find people anywhere, especially with digital marketing that you say is maybe not so expensive to run Facebook ads and know how to do the right kind of search engine optimization to get people to pay attention and have ads pop up because you're paying Google. Advertising is expensive, very expensive, even digital advertising. And oftentimes startups have a hard time figuring all that stuff out. So startups, more than other types of businesses, have the opportunity to look at developing partnerships. So partnerships are more important in startups than traditional small businesses as a way to build distribution. So hence the reason that startups will need to meet a lot of people that they don't know.